Alright, what's up guys? Hope you're having an awesome day. I'm coming back at you with the Watch Dogs 2 follow-up review. And I was actually just now, was going back into some of the side missions. And I'm not very happy with them, man. Some of the side missions are really cool, and this is something I talked about in my first review. And but now that I'm playing more of them, some of the side missions are straight up just useless. They're just this little mission. You open it up, you go hack a computer thing, and then it's over, and that's it. That's it. There's a little bit of dialogue for the story, like what you did, the purpose of it, but that's one of the side missions, is just to go hack something, and one of them maybe spy on somebody inside of their bedroom or whatever, and that's actually your mission, and then it's over, and it's like, okay, well, what the heck? So that's a little annoying. I do have some notes. I'm going to go over these. I just wanted to say that really quick because I was trying to continue playing the game, and I loved the game. I really did. I thought it was really cool. I beat the campaign. I think it was yesterday I beat the campaign. I liked it. I thought it was a pretty cool game. Definitely cool to play. My biggest complaint is just that there's not as much side content as Part 1. Part 1 had a ton of side content. There was the digital trips, and I remember when they first announced they were not going to have them in Part 2, I couldn't understand why. I still don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense to remove one of the coolest side game events that was in Part 1. So that's pretty frustrating, for me anyways. You know, Spider Tank, Madness, every digital trip was really fun. Even the flower one was my least favorite. I think that was psychedelic or whatever. It was my least favorite, but I still had fun with it, you know? Like, playing this game and having the lack of side content makes me want to go boot up Part 1 and play the digital trips on there. And that's not just, the digital trips were not the only side thing in Part 1. There was also little running races where you dodge through, like, Pac-Man looking ghosts and stuff, and that was fun. I actually had a lot of fun with those. There were chess games, not full. I don't remember if they had full-on chess games, but they had, like, chess puzzles. They were kind of like you had to win the match in a few moves or whatever. It'd give you a certain amount of moves. So it was like playing chess, but not a full game of chess. I don't remember if it had full games of chess or not, but I remember the puzzle ones. There was also the ball and cup thing where they put the ball underneath the cup and move the cups around, and you had to follow. That was a little mini game. It was a little mini game that you could do, and I did all of those. There was a drinking game on top of races and stuff. I forget what else. I'm pretty sure there were like a couple other mini games, and yeah, there's like a shooting alien mini game, which I wasn't a big fan of myself, but I mean, just the fact that there was so much side content in Part 1, and none of that is in Part 2. None of it. The only thing Part 2 has is races. They don't even have races online. Like, how do you not have online races? They brought back Hacking Invasion, one of the most boring online activities that they had in Part 1, and they have that in this game, but they didn't bring back races, so I'm kind of confused by that. The Hacking Invasion is basically, it's only fun for the, well, I don't know, I've played both sides of Hacking Invasion. Basically it's a 1v1 thing, and one person hides while he hacks into the other player, and so you have like a minute or two where the person that's getting hacked has to find the person hacking them. It's boring. It's really, really boring. The person that's hacking can basically hide in one spot and move a little bit if they have to, and then the person looking for them has to run around in circles forever until they've either find the person or don't find the person. It's a really terrible online activity, in my opinion. You know, it's pretty freaking boring. They don't even have like a versus, like a multiplayer kind of thing, like an 8 versus 8 or anything like Part 1 had. The hacking thing, I don't remember what it was called in Part 1, but it was the online activities and the side events all were way better in Part 1. And in Part 2, the gameplay overall is much better. The movement, the hacking system itself, way improved. All that stuff is much better, but the side content is just so severely lacking. It's ridiculous. I don't know why they did that. And of course, when I was first playing this and I first did my review, I didn't know some of the side missions were going to be pretty just dumb and dull. I was saying how there's a lot of content, because there's a lot of side missions, and a lot of the game is fun. Like, I think Watch Dogs 2 is super freaking cool. I loved it. I had a lot of fun with it, but after trying to find extra things after completing the game and trying to have a little bit of extra fun in there, I just kind of want to start a new game and just play a new campaign again, you know, and then start all over. But I'm not gonna do that right away or anything. And I would rather just go back to Part 1 and play the digital trips and stuff. Let me see. I was not going through my notes. That was just my big complaint of the side content. Is, you know, it's really lacking the side content that Part 1 had, which is sad. It's not, you know, I mean, I've spent at least 20 hours in this game, and I think that's a fair amount of gameplay. That's almost doing everything, almost. The campaign is anywhere between 10 and 15 hours. I mean, I'm guessing because I didn't just strictly stick to the campaign. You know, I did get sidetracked and did a bunch of side stuff. And there's a lot of fun side stuff. Like there are fun, really cool, fun things, but they're side missions. They're not side content. Like in Part 1, you do the digital trips. You can do those whenever you want. Once you finish your side mission in Part 2, you're just done with that side mission. No matter how fun it was, if it was like a puzzle event, chain event of a side mission, once you're done with it, you're done with it. You can't go back and replay it or anything like that. And the only side activities are races, which I think were fun. I've seen a couple complaints about it, but I thought they were fun. I like the motorcycle races. The drone race, not super interested in. I like the tracks that they made for the drones. It's the one where the flying drone. I definitely like the tracks. They got a little bit inventive, having you going up and down and through little things and whatever, which is pretty cool. But you don't race against anything, you're just racing against time, so it kind of dulls it down, you know. You're basically just flying around, which you can just do in the open world anyways. Although it is a direct race that you can follow, which makes it cool. The motocross, I really like the motocross. The e-karts, fun stuff. And then the sailing boats are actually kind of a challenge in a way. It's not like a major challenge, but the sailboat races are actually the most challenging of the races, you know. It's a very interesting thing. I like the sailboat thing. But that's all they have as far as side content, like real side content that you can go and replay and stuff, that you can do races. They don't have all the cool stuff that was in Part 1. So I've got like 20 hours on this game, and I'm pretty much done. I'll replay it at some point. I will replay it because I did like the game, but I'm already done with the game at 20 hours. And Watch Dogs 1, I had well over 100 hours. Well over 100 hours. Just having fun and playing all the side stuff on top of the campaign. You know, a little bit of online. I like doing the online races. So it's a little bit disappointing. Let me jump into my notes finally. I love the campaign. Other reviews mention how it doesn't know if it should be serious or silly. I actually seen a couple people mention this in their reviews where they were like, you know, the game doesn't know what it wants to be and all that kind of stuff. And I don't agree, because, you know, as people in real life, we do have our silly days, or good moods, or bad moods, you know. So I mean, there was not a lot of development in between these scenes. Like, say if you had a buddy die in the game and you go and you get your revenge and stuff and whatever, there's no real development on that. You immediately go from the serious mood back into a regular, normal day kind of thing. And I think that actually is pretty realistic, because life goes on and you have to go on. So I wasn't too bothered by that, you know. There are serious moments and there are lots of fun, entertaining moments, you know. So I don't know. I wasn't too bothered by that. I do, like I said before, I really like the dark attitude of Part 1, but I also I surprisingly loved the fun, lighthearted attitude of this game. And there are, you know, enough serious parts, enough, I don't know, whatever. I mean, I like this game, man. I have a note: be prepared to die a lot, even on normal. Now this is the funny thing to me, and it took me a while to realize it, because I was so used to playing different games and stuff, and even with Watch Dogs 1, like, gameplay in Part 2 is much improved. So in this one, there's a funny trick to it when you're facing enemies, is just to tap the hack button, and you automatically distract anybody that you're fighting against. If you're surrounded by a bunch of enemies, it's not going to be very useful. You don't want to, you know, I've gone in and charged and hacked like 3 people at once, but it's still tough if you have a couple more enemies around. You'll die in like 2 to 3 shots. That's pretty crazy. But the funny thing is, you can actually, like, if an enemy is attacking you, you can just hit the hack button. It'll immediately distract them, and then you can just melee them down. It's really funny. But I have died a lot. I mean, if you're not doing like strictly stealth, if you're not being super slow like me, I'm a run and gunner, man. I like to run around and get in the action, so I'll die a bunch. But you know, you learn the trick of just hacking an enemy when you charge at them, and you just automatically get a free melee attack. But you get surrounded a lot. There's lots of gun shootouts where a bunch of enemies, once you're spotted, a bunch of enemies will be like, alright, we got an army here, you know. It's pretty cool. But there is a big hack once you get into talent that allows you to distract everybody at once. Just you like target one enemy and you hit the right button hack thing, and it'll chain onto everybody, like, and they all get stunned for a second or two. It's really cool. It's only effective really for escaping, because if you try to melee, you know, the melee animations, the animations for a lot of stuff, especially in melee, the animations are quite long. So 2.5 to 3 seconds or so of an animation, and during that animation, if you got enemies shooting at you, you're gonna die within that animation. It's also happened to me like once or twice where I was getting in and out of a car and I got shot while getting in and out of a car, because the animation, you have to wait for it. There's no like instant jump in and out. There's an actual animation attached to it. So that was a bit annoying. But it was also, you know, understandable. Like, you know, it was cool. It was annoying, but it wasn't like a big deal or anything. Let's see, puzzles can be super fun. Having to use the drones to get specific spots is required, but it doesn't feel forced because they're actually fun to use. I actually did this was a cool thing, was I was taking my drones. I was a little worried about the drone thing. I was worried that it would feel forced, and but while playing through the game, I got used to my drones. I got used to using them, and this was without trying to stealth and attack enemies. It was just finding new ways to get somewhere. You know, I thought that was pretty cool. But there was a point where I was doing a lot of side content, doing a lot of the side things, as well as campaign stuff, and I came to realize like a lot of the missions involved with having to get to a certain spot or hack something require a lot of like puzzly platformish stuff, including the drones. So at some point I was like, oh man, I'm so sick and tired of this. Can't I just walk to this thing, you know? There was a point where I got to that because I was just doing a bunch of those. But overall, I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. I really did like the drones. I didn't want to, like, when I saw them as a part of the game, I didn't want to feel like I was forced to use them. And, you know, it depends, of course. Some missions do force you to use them, but they're fun to use. I don't know. They're pretty cool. I didn't mind using them, you know. It wasn't like some games where they give you this mechanic and they force you to use it. It's just like, oh, I don't want to use this stupid mechanic. You know, I could just jump over here or whatever. But this is a little different. The drones are pretty cool. Car chases are too easy. Well, this is fun. Oh, and barely have to even hack the streets to stop the people chasing you. I mean, lots of just changing the road that you're on. You can escape the cops or the gang members or whatever, the hacker gangs. You can escape them really easy, which was a bit disappointing. In part 1, I mean, you would get wrecked hard by any cops chasing you and stuff, man. They were relentless in part 1, and they're not like horrible in part 2, but as a comparison, especially a comparison, like they're way too easy. They're way too easy to lose. And that's the thing about it too. In part 1, a lot of the losing the cops in part 1, if you were in a police chase and you had to escape, a lot of it had to do with hacking. Like, you were hacking those bumpers, the blockers in the streets, and all kinds of stuff, steam pipes and the traffic lights and all that. And you have that stuff here in part 2, but it's not as, like, it doesn't happen as much. Holy shit. Wow. My bad. Sorry. Something in the next room. It just doesn't happen as much. You don't hack the city streets as much during a chase, which is, for me, it was kind of boring-ish. Like, I still like the chases, but, I mean, I came from part 1. Somebody that didn't play part 1 might not have enjoyed it as much as I did. They might play part 2 and still kind of like the chases, but, I mean, the hacks were a lot more often frequent in part 1 and having to escape your, you know, chasers and your pursuers and all that. So that was just something that I did notice in part 2. It wasn't as fun to escape pursuers because there's just not as much hacking involved with the streets and stuff. You can easily just churn down these different streets and they already lose you, and it's just like, that's probably bad AI. Maybe there will be a patch to fix it, but I've already beaten the game. I don't even care, you know? Like, I probably will play it again. Just not like right away or anything. And I have a couple side missions to finish, and I will go and I will try to get all the collectibles and little things, but I just really, it's as far as side content, it's not as fun as part 1. The main campaign, the main game, a lot of the new stuff that's in it is much better, much improved. But when it comes to wanting to just jump into side mini games and stuff, this game comes nothing close to part 1, which sucks. Let's see. So yeah, oh, that's what I wrote this as a note. So just real quick, in my first review, I had said, you know, I didn't miss digital trips because at the time I hadn't missed them. But no, like I said, now that I've beaten the campaign and I want to do side stuff, I definitely miss them a lot. I miss all the side content from part 1. I miss it very much. And there's lots of content in this game, but it's all kind of related to the main theme. You know, there's nothing off to the side that you can just have fun with other than races. That's pretty much it. Let's see. I'm going through my notes, and a couple of these notes I already went over. That's why I'm skipping here. Got to read through them a little. All mission types will allow you to mark its location on the map from the mission menu when tracking. Yeah, this is something I meant to mention in the first review when I started talking about the missions. It's just a cool little thing. It's normal, but it was something I didn't notice right away. So when you're opening, you have a lot of missions to pick from, side missions and main missions. And if you're actually like in the mission dialogue thing, there's a little box you pop open. You get to just open up the map directly from that mission, and it'll show you exactly where you're going and stuff, which is cool. So you don't have to like pick a mission and then open the map. You do it all in one little menu, which is cool. Let's see, a complaint. Can't fast swap weapons. I don't know if I'm missing the controls. Like, it's possible. Maybe I haven't caught on to the fast swap weapon thing, but I haven't been able to fast swap between the two weapons or whatever weapons. You always have to hold the weapon menu and go through the wheel to pick your weapon that you want to equip, which isn't a major deal, but it's definitely annoying when you're in the middle of like a gunfight and you want to switch your weapons and you got to go into that wheel menu. It's like, what the hell? Where's the quick swap button? So that's something I might have missed. I might be missing it in the control scheme. I don't know where it is. I might find out later and go, oh, I'm an idiot, you know, like, because that happens. Let's see, tripwire lasers everywhere. Oh yeah, so they're in the beginning of the game you don't come across a lot of alarm systems that are tripwires or whatever, but later on you come across them all over the place, and you have to use your drones to get around them. Otherwise, you need the upgraded hack in your talent system to turn those off. I just thought it was something worth noting because it was a little bit annoying. That was where they force you to use the drones. It doesn't feel like you have to use a mechanic you don't want to use, but it's also a little bit annoying if you don't have the talent to shut down the alarm systems. Especially if you're a person like me who I didn't want to stealth every mission. I went guns blazing. I killed a bunch of people. I don't like killing innocent folks or anything, but I was like, I'm killing some people, man. We're gonna kill these bastards. So that's what I did a lot. And so I died a lot too. Like, you know, whatever. Let's see. Animations for doors opening. Oh, at headquarters. Okay, so when you go to your headquarters, your main headquarters with the hacker group, every time you go in and out of that place, you have to wait like 5 to 10 seconds. It's like around 6 seconds to open the door and walk in, and open the door and walk back out. And it's just this really long, needless animation to leave your main headquarters. I liked it at first, but when you have to do it every time you go to your headquarters, it's kind of like, what the hell? You're just wasting my time, man. Just open the door, let me in and out, man. Like, I understand the whole, like, the feel of it, you know, the theme of you're going into your headquarters, but it just, as a gameplay mechanic, you know, it's a waste of time. So I just thought that was something worth noting. Space mission. Ooh, yeah. I don't know if I want to say this. There is some. It's like I said in my original review. There are several things. There's lots of little things here and there that I feel are special moments in the game. You know, there's some really cool things, especially with the hacking puzzles. But there's some really cool like side things that you come across, and they're not like tiny little side things, but they are small parts that are really, really, really cool. And then that's it, and it's a small, really cool part, and then that small part's over. And it's like, damn, I wish there was more of this, you know. I'll say the satellite hacking. I'll just say that satellite hacking was really, really cool. There's some really cool links to the first game, especially one to do with a insect type of thing. I don't want to spoil everything, but I kind of want to say it because it's really cool, damn stuff. But let's see. Oh, there was actually recently, there was a graphics comparison video released. I believe that was yesterday. I shared it on Facebook and Twitter, and I think Discord maybe. I don't know. But there was a graphics comparison, and it is clear that and this was a PS4 comparison from E3 to PS4 now. and it is clear that it's a downgraded visually from what they showed us at E3, which happened. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised anymore these days, right? Like, but even with the heavy downgrade, it is a very beautiful game. It really is. I don't know why they keep doing that. Maybe they're showing PS4 Pro. I mean, it might be that much better if you're. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. I can't even say because I'd have to play this on PS4 Pro, so I don't really know. I know that I have seen comparison screenshots, PS4 Pro and PS4, and in the articles that I've read about this stuff, these comparisons, even Uncharted and all these games, these guys, they keep posting these screenshots and saying, here's a comparison PS4 Pro and PS4, and they also always say like, you can barely notice a difference because we can't show you the I forget the high resolution, the ultra resolution, whatever the hell it's called, HDR. That doesn't show up in screenshots, but while they're saying this, I can look at the two screenshots. They're exactly the same they're comparing them, and I can see so much detail difference. Like, I can see it right there. Even if it's not HDR, you can see like a big difference between PS4 and PS4 Pro, which I think is cool. So if it's that much better even with HDR, it's like, holy crap. Because I don't know, every time I see it, they're always like, oh, you can't really tell. And I'm like looking at them, I'm like, yeah, I can. Like, how can you not see the difference here? You know, it's cool, man. I don't know what people are looking at, but you can definitely tell a difference between PS4 Pro and PS4. But anyways, so yeah, there was a graphics comparison video just released that I just shared. I will link that in the description if I remember to, and you can check it out. It definitely is downgraded, but it's still a very pretty game. Still looks really nice. Anyways, that's my follow-up review, guys. I definitely wanted to come back and talk. My major complaint is just the lack of side content. I loved this game. I thought it was really cool. Definitely just, like I said, man, going for this is like, I've got around 20 hours played on it, and maybe a little more, but I'm already done with it, basically. I'm pretty much done. I'll do some little side things that I don't care about. I'm just going to do them because I like the game. But in part one, well over 100 hours. Well over. And it's a pretty big difference. And that's all because of side content. That's all because of side content. I also, actually, yeah, it took me a long time to play through a second playthrough of part one, but I finally did get around to it and completed it. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a really cool game. I definitely like it, but that side content lack is just, it kind of kills it. And I remember too, when I was getting like further into the game, especially around after my review, I was playing it a few more hours and stuff, and getting near the end, which I didn't realize I was getting near the end, and when I got to the final mission, I was like, oh, I don't want this to end. But getting towards the end, I kept thinking, I wish this game had more side content. The whole time, I just kept thinking, I wish this game had more side content. Alright, well anyways, thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and yeah, let me know what you think. If you played the game, what's up? I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye.